Okay, so I'm talking to Charlie Williams from Scrawny Nan Films. It's the first conversation I've done with someone who I've never met before. So I've never met you, I've never talked to you, I've never photographed you, which is a little bit different. You offered yourself up, which is great.
Yeah.
So that's a sign of confidence. I've done no research at all, other than I've had a quick look at your Instagram account.
Yeah.
So very much busking it. And so it's almost like a conversation on a train with a complete stranger.
Best way to do it, yeah.
So what could possibly go wrong?
Nah, nothing. We're going to be fine.
Okay, right, just to start off with then. Scrawny Nan Films, and who is it?
Who is it? Well, it's me. It's always just been me, and whoever I'm working with at the time. It is main, like when I started it, I was heavily obsessed with Bob Dylan and David Bowie, and I just loved the whole persona thing, so I went, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a persona. And it is, but it's not what I originally planned, but it's just me. It's being like, here's what I've done. It's just me going, here you go.
Right, excellent. And the name, where did that come from?
I knew you were gonna ask that. Well, what do you think? Where do you think it's come from?
Well, possibly your grandma isn't very big.
Well, I only ever met me grandma once when I was a baby, so I actually don't remember. I think she was quite skinny, but now it's actually on camera. I don't want to tell the story. I want to keep a bit of mystery, even though half my friends know.
Okay.
The reason I chose it is because I thought it sounded much better than like CW films. I thought it sounded a bit more like, the hell is that? Which is the way I'd want people to react, because I know a lot of my friends that like I haven't seen them since secondary school will say to me, what's it about? I'm like, it's just me, and they're like, well, the name's more interesting than Charlie Williams Films, and so it kind of achieved what I wanted it to.
So there is a background reason, but you don't want to share that with us.
It was an inside joke, and during lockdown I wanted to put stuff out that I'd been doing, like crappy little shorts I was doing, and I thought I could copy my friends, put my first and second name and then films or media, but I thought it would be more of me if I'd had a funny name.
Yeah.
And people my friends will go, oh my god, it's Scrawny Nan Films, so it's a bit of a joke.
Yeah.
But it's
different.
Yeah, it's different, but like I'm not doing it just for the sake of being different. I'm doing it because I like it.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm doing filmmaking, because that's how I enjoy expressing myself, is that.
Okay, we'll come on to that in a bit then. So this could be the shortest answer in the world, but as a filmmaker, what do you do?
I don't know. Recently, I've been doing a lot of photography because I get a kick out of it, and because I'm working with friends now, like, you know, Samia O'Grady. She's done music for me, and now I'm sort of a photographer. I do her gigs. I'm doing a music video for her at the minute. So at the minute, what I'm doing is a lot of music orientated stuff. But in the past, I've done like short films. You could call them experimental, you could call them horror. My last film it didn't have a script. It was me sort of just messing with how you start making the film. And it was a film, me and my friend Ryan, who's also a director, it was a film we made completely by accident, and it ended up being my most personal film. Yeah. You know, you don't realise what it is till it's done. So what I did, to get back to the question, what I want to do with film is I want to express myself and express what I like with the people I like, and figure out who I actually am through the form of film.
So is it very much yourself working on a project on your own, or do you bring people in? I always bring people in, but it will always just start off with me. But like with the music video with Samia, I heard a song she released and was like, could I do this for a uni project as a music video? She was like, yeah, that's fine. And then she said, I have a lot of ideas for music video, which got us talking a bit more. And I offered the idea of doing a photo shoot on my film camera as well, because I thought it was my brother's film camera, but I thought it fit her style quite well. And it was nice to be asked to do something, instead of going, hi, can you please do this for me, and then wait months for like a response. This is a bit over exaggeration, but yeah, sometimes it will start off with a script, sometimes it will just be me and a friend.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned Sammy here, because I've photographed her 3 times and it's always been a really pleasant experience, and it happened just totally by chance originally. But one of the things that about her is that she inspired me to move in a particular direction, which is dead interesting, because my next question to you is, who or what inspires you?
At the minute, her producer Joe, who does percussion at a live shows, just because I've been working with them so much. I've never actually said any of this to them, I think, but I just love the way they just play.
Yeah.
And recently, that's when it was like, we were probably going to do the music video, that's how I wanted to film. It was, I had a short idea once of what I wanted to do, but I mainly just wanted to go. For maybe the past 2 years, I've been mainly influenced by music, like Miles Davis, sort of jazz stuff where they have a vague idea of what they're doing and then they improvise all over it.
Yeah.
And I've been doing a lot of that recently. But down the filmmaker route who inspires me, Paul Thomas Anderson's definitely one of them. Like Licorice Pizza, Magnolia, The Master, all of his films. When I joined college, I was sort of known as the David Lynch kid.
Yeah.
Because I still love David Lynch. You know, my brother got me onto Twin Peaks when I was in secondary school. And it was just like nothing I'd ever seen, and I wanted to make that.
I remember Twin Peaks, yeah.
Did you watch the new one?
No.
It's amazing. It was on TV, but it just felt like an 18-hour film, and I loved it. Who else? Lynn Ramsey, who's a Scottish filmmaker. She's amazing. You Were Never Really Here. Morven Callow, Ratcatcher. I could go on for hours about her.
Just where are those people taking you then? So are they all different, or?
They're all different, but the similarity between like Paul Thomas Anderson, Lynn Ramsey, Barry Jenkins, all the decisions feel emotionally intuitive. So it's sort of, there's a story and there's the technical aspects, pardon me, but they're all driven by emotion. The emotion of the story, what's happened in their life. They're all extremely personal. Or with Miles Davis, it's just the hunger to just put himself through the trumpet. It's the self-expression that draws me to it, and it always has, and that's the one thing that hasn't changed. And that's why I'm really grateful for Samir and all the other artists I'm working with to sort of give me the chance and ask me to do that.
So you've talked about some of the inspiration, but where did it all start?
I can't remember at this point, but I remember when I was little I wanted to be a painter, and then I wanted to be an inventor because I had a really short period where I was obsessed with Albert Einstein. I don't know why, he just looked weird, and I was like, he looks cool. And then I wanted to be an actor, and on, you know, Loch Lane?
Yeah.
There's a theatre company there called Theatre on Foot, and I can't remember how my mum found out about it, but I was with them for a few years and it really gave me confidence to fully go with the acting. And I used to sing with the Liverpool Anglican choir because my mum needed me to have something to do after school. So I think all of that has had a hand in pushing me towards it. I think that's just having all those experiences and all those wants and watching films on repeat as a kid, like Star Wars or SpongeBob SquarePants movies. Those films have had massive impressions on me because I watched them so many times, and I was like, I just want to make that. And I remember a cliche, cheesy filmmaker story, but I was watching the behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings with my brother, and Peter Jackson came up, and I said, "Who's that?" "That's not Frodo." And my brother says, "Well, no, that's the director." And I was like, what does he do? And he said, "He's in charge." And I want to do that.
Yeah.
And
what age were you then?
Can't remember. I was like 5, 6.
Right.
I was very little because I used to watch them all the time. I still watch them. They hold up extremely well.
Yeah. Okay. One of the things that interests me is that is about working out which direction film is going generally, because when I look at sort of filmmakers, some of them have got huge rigs that are all about making DSLRs into proper cameras, which then make the whole thing hugely sort of complicated. And then at the other extreme, you've got people with tiny cameras just going out and doing it.
Like you. With your tiny
well, I'm
camera.
both actually.
Yeah,
So
you're both.
The
No,
bigger
yeah.
stuff and the tiny stuff. So this is tiny, and I'm loving the tininess of it. But so, what about yourself? Are you in between, or?
I'd say I'm in between because I've got a Sony on me. I'll just get out really
Okay,
quickly
yeah.
because I absolutely love this camera.
So that's what you're using at the moment.
Yeah, I take it with me everywhere. I
Yeah.
used to use a Canon, broke.
Yeah.
Got this with student loan money. But in uni we have Panasonics, which are like quite big industry used cameras. And one of the modules is called multi-camera. Like, you know, the rig you'd have in a live show or like film in a like a performance, which I've done plenty of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've sort of dabbled in both and I love both, but I think I love the small one a bit more at the minute with the kind of films I'm into and the kind of films I want to make, the kind of films I have made. There's a film on Netflix called Baby Teeth, which I've been obsessed with since college because that has just got such a pick up your camera and go feel.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the way the French New Wave had, where it's literally just you pick it up and go. My teacher since college is always sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? She's always been like, you can do both.
Yeah.
Because she loves French New Wave, but she made me realise in, I think maybe second year is when it clicked, was there is room for both.
Yeah.
You don't have to be specifically one filmmaker. Just because you've done one thing and you're good at it doesn't mean you can't get better at one thing you're bad at. Because I always thought I was pretty bad at like using the big cameras. I always thought the smaller one was just better.
Yeah.
But I've sort of fallen in love with both now.
I didn't actually know that you were at university, so tell me about the course.
I'm at LMA, Liverpool Media Academy, in the campus in the Met Quarter, which is also a shopping centre. We're owned by Robbie Williams, and so I went there in college because I found out about it in secondary school, and it seemed like a super practical course, and I thought, because I've never really been super academic. I'm severely dyslexic and I have dyspraxia, so all that stuff kind of hurts my head. I've slowly gotten a bit better at it, and in film there is an academic side which I don't love, but it is essential, I think, because I mean writing is academic to an extent, you know, researching for a certain time period or a certain event. But I went there at college, really liked it, really liked the people, met some really, really lovely people like Ryan, who I still work with, and there's people I'm still friends with, and I thought, well, yeah, I'll stay at the university because I've built a relationship up with these people, I want to keep it. And they've got a campus in London now, and we've got a teacher from London called Mark, and he's like been around the industry, like he's worked with PJ Harvey, Nick Cave, Primal Scream, and the teachers have all been in industry, which is really helpful. This has turned into a bit of an LMA advert now.
Well, that's no problem with that. Funnily enough, the young woman I filmed yesterday is also at LMA.
Oh, does she do musical theatre?
She's doing musical theatre, so she's
right.
Anna Drewniak is the nearest I can get. She's Polish.
Oh, right.
Third year. And,
Third year, right.
But I talked to her yesterday about modelling.
Oh, yeah.
She does that. Okay, then, so moving on. Is there anything special that you bring to the party when you're working?
How do you mean? Do you mean like on set or just in general?
Skills, attitude, approach.
My attitude to it when it comes to being on a set is everyone, I want to be focused, I want to be focused. I used to take it really seriously. I still take it seriously, but I used to take it a bit too seriously.
A little bit more chilled now.
I used to be really uptight, and I can still be uptight, but I think I'm uptight when I need to be.
Yeah.
My attitude is I want everyone to be relaxed, because if everyone's not relaxed and everyone's scared, then I don't think anyone's really in a good place to create. Tension can be a good atmosphere to be in, maybe personally, in your own life, and that can help you create. Because a lot of creativity can come from conflict, but I don't think that's the main thing. The main way I feel like I can create is if I'm relaxed, everyone's relaxed, but not relaxed to the point where we're all sort of just sitting off, which has happened before.
Yeah.
Which is sort of what I see uni as now, is if we all get a bit too sidetracked, it's like, right, well, we need to work on this. But I want everyone to feel relaxed, but so we can actually invest ourselves in the story and take it seriously by not taking ourselves seriously but taking the work seriously.
Okay. And in terms of skills, is there anything that you offer?
I think I'm a alright camera operator. I think I've gotten better since I've specialised, if you could say that, in photography, because I love the camera. I love it. It's I love pressing record and making sure all the settings are right and moving it in a certain way, or not moving it at all. It depends what's in the frame. I used to think what was the most important was the frame and like the shot, and that, you know, is very important, but I realised I think the most important thing is what's going on in the frame, which goes back to the whole self-expression thing, is you can put yourself in the frame without physically standing there, which is what I really like about it. I think what I bring is, I'm sort of going off what people have told me, but and stuff I sort of agree with, is my films are sort of organic. They sort of have a feel to them that's like scrappy and homemade, but that's what's good about them. And that's the way I sort of want to keep it. I want to work in industry, but at the same time I like the sort of do-it-yourself homemade feel. Recently I've been listening to a lot of like Paul McCartney solo stuff, and they're all like he made in his house. And that's it's just sort of comforting to hear someone who's, you know, who made Sgt. Pepper, and then after that he's just in his home playing guitar.
It's interesting. I've seen some of the clips from the music video that you're doing with Sam here. Now, I don't know how far forward it is, but it's all over the place in a good way. And it's the absolute opposite to the way I work. I'm sort of quite structured and sort of digital, call it even, in my thinking, but I just like the way it's a bit of this, a bit of that, and then moving to this. And
well, my mum got me a box set of Louis Malle films. Do you know Louis Malle?
No.
He's a filmmaker from 50s to 80s. Amazing. I haven't watched all of his films, but he's got one called Zazie dans le Metro, which is one of the most bonkers films I've ever seen. It's amazing. And one thing I've always noticed about French films is how all over the place they can be. The sort of, there she is, she's there. To me, that's always been extremely French, and I think that's what she's like a bit as well. She's very...
Well, she is French, isn't she?
Yeah, she's French. But also, like, as I've gotten to know her better, as a person, she's, you know, very, you know, structured, and she's, you know, she's got things in place like a job and that. But just as a person, there's times where she's just all over the place. That's one thing I find about which is really inspiring, is, like I said, I like putting myself into it, but I like sort of getting to know people and building a good relationship with them, and sort of being like putting what they make you feel into it. I don't know, I'm kind of forgetting what I'm saying now.
That's okay. So, moving on, does your age have an impact on what you do and the relationships that you develop with clients, collaborators?
A little bit, because I'm 18, so I'm still quite young, and the people I work with are quite young. But I mean, we all get on, the people I usually work with, because we're all friends, we're all around the same age. But like, when I was 16, I did a music video for the Beatles song I Am the Walrus for a laugh, and we were all like super hormonal teenagers. Nothing get in the way of the video, but at the time we were all we were off our head, and you can see in the video we're all still a bit like that, but we're a bit more tame because we're a bit older and a bit more mature.
Moving on then, can you talk about a specific project that you're proud of?
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud of most things I've made, but the one I've been proud of the most was one I released at the end of last year. I mentioned it earlier, it was one me and Ryan ended up making by mistake.
Right.
And the reason I'm proud of it was because originally we were going to be filming for a friend, but that fell through, and instead of sitting around feeling sorry for myself, I called Ryan and said, do you want to make something? We had a very vague, like, sort of prompt, and
we just made something, and when I put it into the edit, it was nice. It was just sort of a nice little scene, and I sent it to my teacher I was talking about earlier, and she said, "You're right, it's quite scrappy, and you said a lot of the equipment had broken, but you've created a really nice atmosphere here."
Yeah.
So that sort of made me go, well, I'll push a bit more of the edit, and tried some colour grading things, and I asked Samia to do some piano for it. One thing I'm really proud of actually is how we worked on that. It was all over message, and she said, what emotion do you want? And I said, well, you look at the images and you tell me, because if there's one thing I've never wanted to do is say now's the time to be sad, so be sad. Yeah. I always want someone to bring themselves to it. And she came out with this really beautiful piano piece, which really sounded like "Wild as the Wind" by Nina Simone. It's just really good. And when we finished it, I didn't like the idea of just putting it out. So for a day a week, I'd release a letter. I'd release a word on the Instagram, not saying what it was. I just put a letter up. I wondered what was going on there. Yeah, and everyone was like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know what is going on. You tell me." And then when it was all done and the title was finished, sort of like a collage, it was "I hope this bores you," and it got people interested in it. Right. Because I didn't want to just go, "Here's a film, I made it." I wanted to actually get people's attention, because I was done sort of pretending like I didn't care when I desperately did, and then that made me sort of go, okay, now I don't care, and now I can just make something without really caring if someone thinks it's crap. I can, and the reason it's called "I hope this bores you," because if it bores someone, well, that's the title, so good for you, kind of thing. Yeah. I'm just really proud of it, because I still watch it and I get something different out of it each time. I don't know if that's what my audience, if you can even call them that. It's really just a bunch of mates, but I don't know if they get the same thing out of it, but I personally I'm really happy I made it. It's taken me 40 years to get to a point where I'm working for myself. Yeah. The photographs I take, a good photograph is a photograph that brings me pleasure. An excellent photograph is one that brings me a lot of pleasure, and I'd recommend it. It's a really good place to get to. No, yeah, that's what that film is to me. It's like I made a film, and it makes me happy. Good. Okay, we're on the home run. So, is there a grand plan? The grand plan for Charlie Williams. For Charlie Williams, Penthouse in Miami and 5 Oscars. No. Yeah. Don't know. I'd like to be held up in the same regard as Martin Scorsese, because So you're thinking big? I'd like to. I mean, when I say that, it's I don't particularly want fame. I want to be known for being good at something. Acknowledgement. Yeah, I don't want to be famous for wearing a nice suit at premiere. I want to acknowledgement. I mean, it'd be nice, but my main goal is to just keep doing it to a point where I can be financially secure to just keep doing it. Yeah. And by the time I'm 50, I can express myself as easily as I can now, because, and this is probably the most pretentious thing I've ever said, but one thing I've always stood by is I think to be a good artist is, at first, you've got to figure out how to be a human being. Yeah. And that's I think from what people have told me is that's all that life is you get to 50 and you're still figuring it out. And I think for me, when I'm making a film, I'm trying to figure out a certain point in my life. So if I can still be doing that at 50, then I'll be very happy and not have to work a proper job. I mean, I probably will, because it's I'm not shunning a 9 to 5. I've got loads of friends who do that, and it's it's the only way they can make money, which is it's fine. Yeah. But I just don't really want to do it. I'm going to have to, and that's fine. But I want to be able to live and be able to make films. And create. Yeah. Last question, and it's one that I've asked everybody, and it's about the impact of Liverpool, the city, on your creativity. Is there any? Well, definitely. In my films, I did a
The only one I can think of that really expressed Liverpool was a documentary I did last year about witchcraft, because a bunch of my friends started practicing Wicca as a form of coping with mental health issues.
Right.
And I noticed it was specifically getting quite big in Liverpool. There's shops you can go to where you can get crystals and the whole shebang, and I just found that quite interesting. But I've never really done a film where it's like the beautiful city of Liverpool. As I'd like to, because I've grown up here and I do love it, which is like everyone says that. Everyone says, "Oh, I do love this city," and it's true. Everyone that's from here loves it and hates it, just like someone from New York loves and hates New York.
Yeah.
You've got your own personal connection with it. The thing I want to do is I want to show Liverpool as a really honest place, because that's what I think it is. I don't, it's always going to be known as the place the Beatles were from, because the Beatles were great, and they were unapologetically Scouse. Like,
Yeah.
have you seen Get Back? The Disney Plus series.
No.
It all 8 hours of the documentary, Let It Be documentary, and Peter Jackson, recolorized all of it, and they were all still Scousers, which is what I love. It's like they'd been to America and they'd been everywhere, and they were still 4 blokes from Liverpool making music. But yeah, I think it's just the honesty of people and the honesty of the place is what really inspires me, because I want to be honest. Yeah, that's all I can think of.
Right. On that note, absolute pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
Best of luck with the career.
Thank you very
and the
much.
creativity.
Good luck with the rest of the interviews.
Thanks very much.
You're very welcome.